Welcome to part C of drawing isolines. Okay, so we have a new map. We're going to be drawing isolines again at an interval of 2. So the smallest even number that we have on the map is an 8. And the greatest number we have looks like it's a 12. So we're only going to really need to draw 3 isolines. All right, so we can pick anything we want. We can do an 8, a 10, or a 12. So I'm going to start off. I like to start off kind of in the middle, so I'm going to pick a 10. So I need to find some observed 10. So I'm looking around. There's an observed 10 here. There's an observed 10 up here. And there's an observed 10 over here. And I think that's it. Oh, one more up here at the top. All right, so I have some observed 10s, and I know that I'm going to find, oh, there's one more. I know I'm also going to find some inferred 10s as well. So for example, between 9 and 11, between 8 and 12, there's definitely going to be some observed or inferred 10s as well. All right, so starting off, I can pick any one of these to start off with. So I'm going to pick this one right here. There's a 10 over here, and there's nothing that's separating these or says I can't connect them. So I'm just going to take and connect those with kind of a straight line. Then I have to either go off the map, but I have to be careful. I need to look at the observed points around it, and there's an 8 and 11 down here. And there's a 10 way down here. So I should somehow get from this upper 10 to the lower 10. So I'm going to go in between the 8 and 11. So I'm going to kind of basically just kind of curve this down. I can go between 8 and 12 and the other 8 and 12. And that's going to bring me back to this 10 here. Now I have an 8 and a 9 here. I can't go down anymore. I can't go between an 8 and an 8. So somehow this is going to have to kind of curve back out again. Maybe go between the 9 and the 12. Maybe come back down here between 8 and 11. And then between 8 and 12. Between 9 and 11. And that brings me out to this 10 right here. Now, I don't have any information up here by these 11s to tell me that the 10 is going to curve up there. And I'm really close to the margin, so I'm just going to take this and put it to the margin on the side and label it a 10. Over up here, there's nothing that tells me I can't connect these two 10s up at the top, so I'm going to bring this over. And I want to make sure that that line goes through that 10, so I'm going to bring it over, go through the 10, and I'm going to wrap it around and make it look like it's going to come down. Maybe go off the margin a little bit. If you were to connect these, that would actually be acceptable, but there's nothing to say that it isn't connected, but there's nothing to say that it is either. So taking it off the margin like this is acceptable. Connecting them would also be acceptable. All right, so I am now done with my 10 line. All right. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to start by going outwards. I'm going to do the 8 next. So I have some 8s down here. I kind of have a pattern to work with. So I'm just going to connect those with a pattern. And I'm going to bring this pattern out around to this 8. Let me do that a little bit. Bring it out, go through that dot. I'm going to bring it up here, go through that dot, and then I'm going to bring it off the top because there's no 8s along here at the top. Label it. So I know that I have to go off on this side. So the question is now, can I go on the inside, the top of the 9, or do I have to go to the bottom of the 9? So that's a 10. Right here is a 10. And so I cannot go between 9 and 10. There's no 8. So I have to go to the bottom of that and go around the 9 and come bring it up. So that value there will be an 8. All right. So I have my 8 line done. So now I'm on to the 12. All right. So I have a 12 here and here, here, here. All right. So starting off, I'm going to pick this one here at the bottom. The line here at the bottom, the pattern is kind of a flat pattern, so I'm going to just kind of go through the 12 with a flat line. I can go between 11 and 13 here on the right, so I'm going to bring this up and get right into that other 12. I can go right up to the next 12 as well, kind of curve it a little bit. I cannot go between 10 and 11. I cannot go between 11 and 11, so I'm pretty sure this is going to wrap around and create some kind of loop. Probably need to try to get over to this 12 on the left. So I'm going to look for the window or the doorway to get through there. So I can go between 9 and 11. So I'm going to bring this up. Oh, no, I cannot go between 9 and 11. I'm doing the 12 line, not the 10 line. Hold on, 10 line. There's a 10 between 9 and 11. Okay, we're going to come back to that. All right, so I can go between 9 and 13, though. All right, so I'm going to come over here, hit the 12, and then again between 11 and 13. So this is going to come back down. Again, between 11 and the other 13. Oh, that wasn't close. Maybe I'll do this, go the opposite way. There we go. Okay, so I have a 12 line done, and that works. It goes between a bigger number and a smaller number all the way around, so that definitely works. Okay, so we ran into a little problem. I noticed that there is a 9. Put that in a different color. There's a 9 and 11, which means that in between them is a 10. And so if I look around, there's going to be a 9 and 11. There's going to be a 10 there as well. This line, this red line is a 12. Is there going to be a 10 between 9 and 12? Yes, there is. So there's going to be a 10 in between those as well. And then, so what I end up seeing here is that there's actually going to be another 10 line making a little circle like this going around like that. Okay, so what's going on here? First of all, this is going to introduce us to another rule about isolines. You can have more than one line for a particular number. These are two separate groups of 10s. There is definitely this 10 going around the big loop, but then it's very obvious that there's a little 10 loop going on here that's completely isolated and cut off from those outside 10s because of these 11s and these 12s. So we can have a completely separate line. So I'm going to erase some of this and put in a 10 and put in a 12 just so I know what those are. All right, so we want to talk about this special 10 line, this little teeny 10 loop that we just created. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a line that we can talk about. Trying to figure out what color to use. All right, well, anyways, so I'm going to draw a line that's going to go across the map like this. All right, so what's going on here? All right, so when I go from one point to the other point, as I walk across this, I get to this line right here, and that value right there is going to be an 8. And then I'm going to continue walking, and I get to this value right here, and that's going to be a 10. And I continue walking, and then I'm going to hit a 12. So what's been happening so far is I've been going uphill. But then I get into this area here, right about here. What could possibly be the value of that point in between inside the 12 line? Well, it's sort of in between some 13s. So we could say it might be a 13. This red line going across the map is not an iso line. It's just a path that we're walking. And so we could say that this is going to be a 13. But then this point right here is a 12. And then this point right here is a 10. So what's been happening is now we're going downhill. So we can imagine going up and up and up and up and up, and then we kind of hit a flat spot at the top of a hill, and now we're going down and down and down. So we're going down in this area right here. But then right in here, I get next to this 9. So this point right here, this might be a 9. So I was going down again. And then I go back up to a 10. And then I go back up to a 10 again. And then I'm going up to a 10 again. So maybe in here, maybe there's an 11. All right, so what I want to get at here is what is going on in this 10 circle, this small 10 circle. So there is a connected video in here that I'm going to put into the 203 lesson, and it's on ant lions. What I want you to do is I want you to watch that video because, and then come back to this one. So pause and go watch the ant video or the ant lion video, and then come back to this.